got most people here we expect. Go ahead and get started. Again, this is being recorded and it'll be posted, I think, automatically to YouTube, thanks to thanks to that being set up. In the agenda for today, Sebastian, you have the first couple of items there around error handling, and start there.
Yeah. So that's about the pull request. The error handling is about the pull request. I've made last week. I've tried to incorporate every feedback I got, and at least from the command line, it looks a bit nicer, and also from the way the exceptions are actually defined, it looks a bit better. One thing is that I really had trouble with getting exceptions being passed through the Ceph interpreter barrier, and then being able to catch them properly. One idea might be to actually pickle and unpickle the exceptions. But at least the current pull request as it is works, kind of. Also, I've added some tests, and yeah, would be nice to get some feedback.
Looks like a few people have commented on it. Are there particular people you're hoping for more feedback? Let's see, Jeff and Noah have commented.
Yeah, as I said, I've tried to incorporate every feedback I got. But would be nice to get some reviews of the actual final implementation. So the next item is that I've added the Nautilus milestone to the SSH orchestrator pull request, because that's the one that really I want to get merged as soon as possible. Especially before the...
Yeah, how much do we think is left on that one? And Noah, do you want to summarize it? Or
we're talking about... Hold on.
Yeah, your pull request.
Excuse me. Yeah, so I thought it was mostly done, but over the weekend, I got a bunch of feedback. I haven't looked at it specifically, but it all looked pretty straightforward. The toothology test, it is hooked into toothology, but the test is very simple, just making sure the module can be invoked. The bigger question, I think, is it's not clear to me how to proceed with sort of a more in-depth test right now because of the way that dependencies are handled. So the module depends on this package called Remoto, and it's not available from Ubuntu, but let's see, some can, I believe, or well, okay, I can't remember exactly who's handling this, but there's a PR open for Ansible, the Ansible playbooks for the Ceph cluster that'll install this from pip. And I think we need just to make sure that works for CentOS 2. There's an updated package that's going to land in the RPMs, but it's just not available right now. So for example, right now the test works on CentOS only in Toothology, but the package that's getting installed is a little old, so I can't actually invoke the module. It's just like a blocker for the test development right now. So I don't know how that affects merging, but certainly not exactly sure how to proceed on that.
Do you think so as long as the tests in the CPI lab are working fine, that's my main concern. So adding in merging that pull request and then breaking the default runs of the test suites are a bit weird.
So I think then, one way to move forward would be to make sure that the change for Ansible is merged first.
Yeah.
And then that will at least get the tests as they currently stand passing. And then there's another issue that we can follow up on, which is getting updated packages installed. So I think that's a fine path forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at least we are getting something
Okay.
To get the tests running.
All right, I'll figure out how to record this dependency on the Ansible change. I'll update the PR and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Great, sounds good.
I've looked into the SSH orchestrator and I really liked it. Worked good so far. I've couldn't get the CentOS 7 box running on my system, so I've ported the development environment Vagrant script to Ubuntu, Bionic, and I was able to deploy OSDs on Ubuntu. So yeah, it just
That's
worked.
amazing.
Of course, it just works, right? Yeah.
100% of that is thanks to Ceph volume and then whatever magic it's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always great to hear when things are working, though. All right, is that it for the SSH orchestrator? We'll move on to next section then. Yes, I've got some notes on Rook there to discuss. The first one is around the PR for add and remove mons in Orchestrator. Jeff, I think we're ready to merge that, right? We just had some questions about potential things to do, but I think we can definitely hold off on that. That was more of a long-term suggestion.
Yeah, I think so. If we want to add adding, per host node limits or whatever, node, settings or whatever
or labels.
It's pretty a larger scale project. I'm not sure how not quite sure I envision how it would work. Aside unless we did have a way to do the add a label per node, but that's much more involved. I say we don't do that now. Wait until we're ready.
Yeah, exactly. And around the question of should Rook set or should we set labels on nodes? Probably not. So then maybe the list of hosts could be interpreted as a label, and then we just set labels on the mons, and we expect them to set the labels on the nodes. Anyways, yeah, it needs a little design thought.
Could do something where you add the label with the node that this mon should be assigned to the mon, and then have it somehow match that up with the label that Kubernetes automatically puts on the node. That might be, doing something like that may be doable, but I'm not sure if you can even express that with the way the node affinity stuff works. So I'm not quite sure how that would work.
Yeah, I guess the way I'm envisioning it is you'd want to set sort of a label that applies to all the nodes you'd care if mons run on, and then and then we use the node affinity for the operator to assign mons to specific nodes after that. So otherwise, yeah.
I think if you want to get that involved at this point, you got to get in there and edit the JSON. So, and does the Mons have that support already? I guess that's like core Kubernetes functionality. I mean, if we did set this stuff up, it would do it right? I mean, we don't need to add any operator for this.
Well, the operator is already doing this or looking for those labels if you tell it to in the CRD. Yeah, no more changes. CRD is needed for that right now.
Cool. Okay.
But it seems like it is a topic for a different PR.
Yeah.
I think so. It's a extension of this.
Yeah.
And returning an error when you set host seems reasonable for now. You get what you get for the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Next item was, so last week we realized there was an issue with Rook connecting to Nautilus. It was really independent of the orchestrator modules, but just to follow up on that, it was a regression on the Rook side from setting up or changing how the mons are configured, moving more towards a mimic style configuration and not depending on ceph.conf. Anyway, so that was the cause of the break there. And with the work Sebastian's doing on Messenger 2, it happens to be fixed by that, even though it wasn't related directly to Messenger 2. Any other comments on that, Seb?
Nope. I guess it just everything seems to be working now. I addressed all the comments, passing CI. So I guess one last review, and hopefully we can get this merged. Yeah, it's actually taking care of the upgrades and everything, so we shouldn't have any backward compatibility issues, and also not having any problems with already running clusters for the upgrade. So, yeah.
Great. And then during the upgrade.
Sorry, Jeff?
Oh, I did some testing on your latest branch this morning, and it worked great. So looks good.
Cool. Great. Thanks.
And for the upgrade case, just so I make sure I remember correctly after the weekend, we're not changing the port during upgrade, right? We're using the same port before.
Yeah, so basically old mons that were configured with 6790, then they will remain as is. But for newly added mons, they will keep the new port 6789, well, the old one actually, but and for Nautilus they will list on both 6789 and 3300.
Yep. Great. Yeah, I'll take a final look at that PR for this. Get that in. Great. And then overall, on the topic of Nautilus, for 1.0, yeah, we want Rook to basically be based on Nautilus, since Nautilus will be released for Rook 1.0. So the base image of the operator will make it Nautilus. There's an integration test so after the Messenger 2 PR goes in, then I'll rerun the integration tests on Nautilus so we can get that. We'll have some reassurance that Nautilus is working going forward. Catch things like the configuration differences. Nautilus, that'll be good. And then one other thing let's see, Jeff, you probably know this best as far as where we are with getting the Rook module, orchestrator module loading.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at that, the body thing. It looks like it should make it into stable tomorrow. So here's the thing for it. So it looks like it's one more day to stable. So by tomorrow we should have that resolved. Then what we'll need to do is put the Python Kubernetes dependency back in the spec file. And then I'm not sure what we do for Debian actually, but we'll need to do that and then presumably once we have the Ceph container images pulling in Ceph Manager Rook, then we should be good to go. It will just the dependencies will all sort out. So I think we're good to go once that happens tomorrow.
Sounds great. Almost there. Yeah, so once that's in, that was the last blocking issue for getting Rook working end to end with the orchestrator modules, right, out of the box.
Yeah, I think that's really the last big hurdle. So everything else is just little stuff. So. I also have a pull request up for Rook, kind of unrelated to the orchestration stuff at this point, but to allow it to scale up and down Ganesha instances as well. So that should go. I'm hoping that will go in sometime soon, and then once that's done, I'll probably wire in the update, or Ceph NFS update or something to allow you to scale up and down clusters from within the orchestrator. Should be easy to do. So.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can't wait to get Nautilus all wrapped up here. Yeah. So Sebastian, back on the issues you've tagged for Nautilus, do we need more people to look at those, make sure we get them done in time, or
Actually, the SSH orchestrator looks quite good. And the things I saw as a comments were not really that depth, more like name changes or minor nits, nothing that's really blocking, or that's really where I think this is going to be a problem.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. No major feature work or little integration issues. Finish off. Okay. Sounds good. Well, that's all that I see on the agenda for today. Other things to bring up by anybody? Miguel, anything?
Yes, well, I am working with my integration test platform. Okay, so basically I am playing with the pieces. I can explain that. Well, basically what I am doing is to use a bootstrap cluster that is made of two containers, one for the manager, one for the monitor, and then virtual machines set up with Vagrant in order to test the Ansible orchestrator. Okay, apart of that, I have another container with the Ansible runner service running. And this is what I'm doing now, trying to set up an environment where we can make integration test end to end. Okay, so basically playing with all the pieces, and probably the test. I have thought that it could be nice to have this test done with Behave. I don't know if, probably you know that is one kind of test that use a specific language in order to make easy to specify how to do the test. And this is what I'm doing in this moment. A part of investigating, playing with Kubernetes, basically, in order to be prepared for right next, but it is downstream.
Yes.
And this is all for my part.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm not sure on the testing input itself, but okay. See, anybody else?
Ricardo Diaz, you had a chance to look into the SSH orchestrator yet?
I played a bit last week. I was able to make it work on on an OpenSUSE Vagrant box. I even took care of packaging the Remoto Python library into OpenSUSE. And yeah, but I haven't I didn't have the time to look at the code. But from the things I did, it looks great. So yeah.
Okay, thanks. Then let's wrap up.
Yep. So that'll be it for today then. Going once, going twice. Sold. All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Yep, bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Talk to you later.